color, by the way. How's it shaking? Feeling good, feeling fine? Feeling both good and fine today. Hey, the red tide is gone. Is that what I'm hearing, Anya? Today, Audrey is coming to pick up all of the supplies that she's buying. So like literally 4 huge boxes are going to leave my home, which will really clear out this little lady's room a lot. And I'll be able to show you guys all the work I've been putting in finally. I think you're going to be pretty impressed, or at least I hope you will. I've been working really hard on this room, getting it cleaned out. We haven't put the new stuff together yet, but we will. And I made myself a mini office, so small, tiny. Mini office, a office, if you will, a Memphis, an O'Finney. I like O'Finney. No, I don't like O'Finney. It's a mini office. Minifus. Correct. No more knife jobbing. Yay, we love to see it. I love to see it. Ouch. No more knife jobbing. I just tried to burn myself with milk for no reason. I mean, I guess not tried to, but did. So my daughter loves to pick her plate up from her high chair and put it on the ground. She loves that. So like we have suction cup plates. Hey Susan, good morning from vacation to you. So we have suction cup plates, right? Like a lot of parents do. But I found that even the suction cup plates cannot hold her down. Oh, you know what? It probably is, Anya. I would say yes. So I was getting frustrated with these suction cup plates not working, and her continuously tossing them to the ground, as it were. Morning, Amanda. And so I did a little recon. And there's this woman that I follow on TikTok who's like a mom influencer who I've actually been following since I was pregnant, because she had her baby like 6 months before I was due, I guess. Her baby just turned 1, so maybe like 4 months before I was due, she had her baby. And so I was following her postpartum journey to like kind of day by day see what she was dealing with, and I know everyone's journey is different, but what I might deal with, because there's something to be said for that communal experience, right? So I've been following her. She's lovely. I love her. She's great. Her name's Hillary. A lot of you have seen her. She did that whole thing with her mom doing the Chinese confinement, where her mom made her like special foods every day for the first 40 days or whatever like that. It's all great. Anyway, she has an over 1-year-old, right? Because her baby was born like 4 months before mine. So I see every time she does these videos, like what my 13-month-old ate in a day, blah, blah, blah. She's got this plate, right? And it suctions to the thing, and her baby doesn't seem to throw it. And I was like, man, that one seems to really work. And when I would watch her suction it to the table, like it sounded like it was like, you know, really doing the thing. So I bought one. I reached out to her and I asked her what it was, and she kindly responded, and I bought one. And it was $40 for one baby plate. Okay, but I did it. I bit the bullet. You know me. You guys know me. I am a cheapskate. I bit the bullet and I paid the $40 for the one suction cup baby plate. And we tried it out last night on our daughter because it arrived, and she immediately picked it up and unsuctioned it and put it on the ground. So like either I gave birth to the Hulk, or I don't know, but like why does it work for Hillary but not for me? It feels unfair. Like, I know she's not lying because she didn't even give me like an affiliate link. She doesn't have it linked in her Amazon store, nothing like that. I had to reach out to her to ask her what it was. She's not trying to advertise this plate. She just told me the name, not even a link. So she gets nothing from telling me that. But I mean, like, how come her daughter doesn't do that? Interesting. Did you use water of the cups? Water of the cups. Did you use water of the cups? I'm so sorry, Jen. I'm trying to interpret what that might mean, and I have no idea. Water on the cups. Did I use water on the cups? Can you... I'm so sorry. I feel like a big idiot right now. You're trying to tell me something that's probably very obvious, and it is going right over my head. Help me. Wet the suction cups. Wet the suction cups. Really? Really? Well, this is why we ask. Water helps suction. Did you rub water on the suction cups? I didn't. I did not do that. No. Straight up didn't do that. Am I a dummy? Am I an idiot? Oh my God, am I a total moron? Is that what you're supposed to do? Did I spend $40 on a plate for no reason? Because the other ones would work just fine if I wet the suction cups? Should I have asked sooner? Should I have asked before spending $40 on a plate? Is this what happens? Good morning. We're talking about $40 for one baby plate for no reason. Wow. Okay, well, now we have a $40 plate. This is why I should have asked you guys sooner. Why did I think that I could do this in a vacuum and not ask for assistance? What made me think that I could be a parent in a vacuum? I can't. See, this is why we have other people. This is why you have a village. Okay, let's talk about the surface thing that Liz just brought up for a second. Come here first, someone always knows. Right, that's what I'm saying. Why did I not do that? What provoked me to not ask first? Dumb. Why be a parent in a vacuum? That's what I'm saying. What was I thinking? I don't know. But I want to talk about the surface thing. I thought that for a second. I was like, maybe it's the surface I'm putting on that's not working with the suction cup. If they make high chairs that don't work with suction, fired. Immediately fired. If you are a high chair company and you do not make the surface of your high chair able to be suctioned to, fired. Fired. That is my opinion on the matter. And I will not be taking criticisms on that opinion. If you are a baby high chair company and suction cup plates do not stick to your material, fired. You get my sad face. Do you see it? I can do an upside down smile. See, smile? Upside down smile. Wait, I had it a second ago. Wait, I lost it. Okay, you know what? It's fine. None of you came for this. You didn't come to see me upside down smile. Nope, I can't do it anymore. I used to know how to do it. I do live in a drier area, that's true. Is it green materials? You mean like eco-friendly, or do you mean the color green? I hope you mean eco-friendly, because if you mean the color green, then yes, it is green. I mean, the high chair is the color green. I frown so infrequently. Yeah, it is sustainable materials. Does that make it not suctionable? Have I done this to myself? Unfair. Unfair. You try to save the planet and you get food on the floor as a result. Not fair. Not fair. It's a great high chair other than that, though. Just so you know. It's great. Okay, look how far we are into this book, you guys. Hey, Brian. We are almost done with this book. I had to leave part of the way through yesterday's chapter. It wasn't even the baby's fault. It was because I had to work an event. The event was great and all good things there, so we will finish that chapter today. Well, food would be on the floor somewhere. Yeah, that's true. She would just pick it up off the plate and throw it down. But like, when the whole plate goes down, you're not old, you just don't have the concept of dollars. You know what? It's true. Oh, you think I do have a concept of money? Oh, doesn't really help unless the floor is biodegradable. Yeah, no. The thing of it is this. When she just tosses like one piece on the floor, it's super easy for me to handle. It's when she dumps the whole plate on the floor that I'm like, morning, Isabella. It's demoralizing. That's what it is, Jen. When the whole plate goes down, you're just like, well, why did I make a meal? You know what I mean? Because I don't give her just like jarred baby food. Like I make her actual things because we're doing baby-led weaning. So like I'm making her like a version of what I'm eating, you know, but without the things she can't have. Hey, Kimberly, long time no see. Internet baby sis is doing good. She's sleeping soundly. So anyway, that's the long and the short of it. My mom didn't do plates until I knew how to throw. I've started keeping the plate away from her and holding it and just handing her one piece of food at a time. Yeah, exactly, Sloth. That's what I've been doing. Some shows which do support have begun offering Gen Rush and student bit. That, yeah, again, I mean, that used to be a thing. It's been super busy. Yeah, well, welcome back. So we are in the middle of a chapter called The Witch of Papelnik. $25 student, 30 under 30. I like that. I'm not mad about that. If you need a brief catch-up of what happened earlier in this chapter, Connor is trying to help Robin Hood woo Maid Marian, and he just got Robin to lower his voice for the first time alongside the 45-49 General Rush. Insane. It's so insane. So here we go. Lovely lady, please open the window so I might see your beautiful eyes, Robin Hood said, and he sounded like a totally different person with a quieter tone. Maid Marian peeked over the windowsill with large eyes. Was that Robin Hood? She opened the window and looked down to make sure. Robin of Locksley? She asked. Yes, my dear Marian, you look so beautiful tonight, Robin Hood said. Is that a new veil? Yes, it is, Marian said. She was shocked that he had noticed. I must say, there isn't another maiden in all the land who looks diviner than thee tonight, Robin Hood said. He took off his hat and gave her a small bow, and Maid Marian blushed and covered her mouth to hide the grin. Oh, Robin, she giggled, can you even see my veil from all the way down there? Will you let me into your room so I might see it closer? Robin Hood asked. Smooth, Connor whispered and gave him a thumbs up. Marian lowered a rope of sheets tied together, and Robin used it to climb up the side of the castle and sat on the windowsill. They shared a kiss, and Robin crawled into Marian's room. Nice work, Connor called to the window. Don't forget the lock and key. He was so relieved that he wondered if he could have a future in couples counseling, but his relief quickly wore off when he realized that he still had to find his own way inside the castle to find the Witch of Papelnik. Connor ran around the side of the castle but couldn't find a door or a window big enough to crawl through. He eventually found the castle's gate and shook it to see if he could pry it open, but it was solid as a rock. Just as he stepped away from it, the gate started rising. 4 soldiers appeared behind it, exiting the castle. With no time to hide and very few places to go, Connor pressed his body as flat as he could against the side of the castle, and he closed his eyes. He prayed that he would magically blend into the wall like a chameleon.
Luckily, the soldiers' helmets were so large that their view was obstructed. All 4 of them walked right past him. Once they were out of sight, Connor dived under the gate and entered the castle. The castle was fairly empty, and the footsteps of any approaching soldier clanked so loudly that Connor heard them coming long before he saw them. Inside, the castle looked exactly like the outside. It was nothing but long halls of stone walls and small windows. All right, well, let's see. If I were a resident witch, where would I be? Connor whispered to himself. Either the attic or the basement? That's where witches are always hiding out in these stories, right? He found a staircase and hurried down it, and it led him to a large steel door with spikes on it. He heard a whip crack, and then a man screamed. Nope, that is definitely the dungeon, he said, and quickly turned around. And then he searched the castle for a way into the towers, assuming that the witch had to live inside one of them. He found a spiral staircase and climbed it higher and higher, growing dizzy as it curled upward. At the top of the stairs he found another door, but this one was ajar. Connor peeked inside a small circular room, and without a doubt he had reached the top of the tower. The room was filled with shelves and tables covered by strange things. There were jars of plants and liquid and small animals. There were cages of larger animals and potion bottles and cauldrons. This was definitely the room of a witch. Connor crept inside. Excuse me? Hold on. Thank you. Excuse me, Miss Papelnick? Maudlin? He found the witch sitting in a chair in the middle of the room. She had thin gray hair and very wrinkled, pale skin. She wore black, tattered robes, and her eyes were closed. She was still as a stone. In fact, she didn't even appear to be breathing. "Oh, ma'am, please be alive," Connor said. And just as he stepped closer to check her pulse, someone else ran up the stairs behind him and knocked loudly on the door. Connor quickly hid behind a table of potions. "Maudlin, are you decent?" the man said at the door, and the witch snorted and stirred to life. "Yes, Sheriff," she coughed. "You may enter." The Sheriff of Nottingham stepped inside the tower and slammed the door behind him. He was a tall and regal man, but once he was alone with the witch, he hunched over and burst into hysterical tears like a small child. "Maudlin, I'm not having a good night," the sheriff wailed. "Oh, there, Sheriff," Maudlin said, and she stood to give him a hug. "Come sit down. Tell Auntie Maud what happened." She sat the sheriff in her seat, and she stroked his hair like she would a doll's. Connor couldn't believe his eyes. He was so embarrassed just watching the sheriff looking around the tower for a way out. "I just want my maid Marion to love me," the sheriff cried. "No matter what I do, she'll always hate me. I've given her a nice home. I buy her nice dresses and veils, and still she treats me like I'm her captor." Now, Sheriff," Maudlin said. "Marion just needs time to come around. That's all I told you. Women do love to play hard to get." "I don't think she's interested in me," the sheriff sobbed. "I just knocked on her door to say goodnight, and she wouldn't even open it to look at me. I'm afraid Marion might be in love with someone else." "Then she's daft, if you ask me," Maudlin said. "Who could possibly be more handsome or braver or more powerful than our own Sheriff of Nottingham? There isn't a more suitable bachelor around for miles, and if she can't see that, well, then she doesn't deserve you. Who else could protect Nottingham better than our sheriff? No one. Who else could achieve Prince John's vision of our kingdom? No one. And who else could keep that nasty thief Robin Hood at bay but our sheriff? No one. Any girl would be lucky to get a look from you." Her compliments must have done the trick, because the sheriff's tears dried up and his frown turned into a bashful smile. "I do suppose you're right," he said. "Thank you, Auntie Maud." "You're very welcome, dearie," the witch said. "I just wish I didn't have to try so hard," the sheriff said. "It makes my stomach turn and gives me a throbbing headache just thinking about it. I haven't been able to sleep for days." "Let Aunt Maud take care of that for you," Maudlin said. and the witch searched through her things and placed a glass of water on the table beside the sheriff. She retrieved a root from one jar, a piece of bark from another, and an herb from the next. She crushed up each item and mixed it into the water. Alka root to calm your stomach, bark of an aspen tree to soothe your head, and the wort of St. John to help you sleep, Maudlin said, and she handed the sheriff a glass and he drank the concoction in one gulp. Connor thought that it was pretty harmless of a mixture for such a renowned witch. He took a closer look around the tower and realized that all the items in here weren't dangerous at all. There was nothing he saw that he couldn't get in a grocery store in the other world. The small animals weren't sacrifices for future potions. They were pets. There's nothing magical about the witch of Papelnick, he whispered to himself. She's not even a witch. She's just a pharmacist. I feel much better already, the sheriff said. All right, now let's go to your chambers, and I'll tuck you in, Maudlin said. You'll get a good night's rest and come back to me tomorrow if you need anything else. I will, the sheriff said. Thank you, Aunt Maud. Maudlin escorted the sheriff out of the tower and down the stairs to his chambers. Connor was extremely disheartened. Thankfully, magic was the last ingredient the portal potion required, and he'd have 2 weeks to find someone else who could provide it while the other ingredients brewed in the potion. However, if Maudlin was any indication, finding someone with magical abilities was going to be hard in the world of Robin Hood. Connor's stomach turned at the thought of it, and he helped himself to some of the alka root on his way out of the tower. He quickly and quietly climbed down the stairs and found the castle's gate. He waited until the soldiers returned from their patrol ships, pressing against the wall as he did so before he snuck outside. He found Maid Marian's window and threw a rock at it. Robin Hood peered outside. Wrap it up, Connor called out. We've got to get back to the camp. Farewell, my love, Robin Hood said quietly, at least as quietly as he could for him. He kissed Maid Marian and then he climbed the rope of sheet to the ground. Maid Marian waved him off as he and Connor ran into the forest. All right, how'd it go? Connor asked. It was a great success, sorcerer, Robin Hood said back to his normal tone. He opened his hand and showed Connor a small lock and key that he had acquired from Maid Marian. This should work now that our affection has been restored. That's great, Connor said. Did you retrieve the magic from the evil witch of Papelnick? He asked, and Connor sighed and shook his head. No, Maudlin isn't going to work out for us, Connor said. I'll have to figure something else out. Robin Hood and Connor journeyed through the woods until they arrived back at the camp, and they found the Tin Woodsman, Peter, and the merry men waiting by the campfire. Connor, Little John and I brought back a branch from the oldest tree in the woods, the Tin Woodman was happy to share. And I flew into the sky and I plucked a feather from the finest pheasant that I could find, Peter said. That's terrific, Connor said. And Robin just got his hands on a lock and key from Maid Marian, so we have enough ingredients to start the potion. He borrowed a pot and pan from the merry men and went to work. He boiled the water in the pot and added the tree branch and the feather, and once the lock and key had been melted in the pan, he poured it into the pot with the rest of the potion. Little John climbed to the top of a nearby tree, and Peter flew the potion up to him. Together, they rigged the pot into the tree so that they'd have a better view of the moon and soak up its light. We'll bring it down in 2 weeks, Peter said. Did you get the magic you needed? The Tin Woodman asked. No, Connor said sadly. Modern medicine was considered magic in early centuries, but it's no good to us. Our new task is going to be to find someone of real magical capabilities, like my sister. It's too bad I'm out of pixie dust, Peter sighed. Hold on a moment, the Tin Woodman said. Why can't you do it, Connor? Peter shrugged. It seemed logical to him, too. Connor was already shaking his head even though he had thought it through. He was already shaking his head before he thought it through, like they had asked him to juggle knives. I don't do magic, Connor said. But your sister can. Why can't you? Peter said. I mean, I suppose I could. I just don't, he said. Magic's really tricky. There are a lot of layers to it, and I've never done it before. I mean, at least not without my sister. The Tin Woodman and Peter were very confused. Of all things, why was Connor self-conscious about this thing? But you could do it if you wanted to, the Tin Woodman asked. Yes, I mean, no. I mean, I don't know, Connor said. Connor supposed it was a possibility given his DNA, but he couldn't make any promises. He had always considered magic to be like math. It was a skill that Alex had, and only Alex had inherited it. We've got 2 weeks before the potion's ready, mate, Peter said. You should really think it over in case we can't find anyone else, the Tin Woodman said. And if we don't find someone else, we'll be stuck here with these merry men forever. The more Connor thought about it, the more pressure increased. It wasn't necessarily magic he was afraid of. He was never good in any situation when something depended solely on him. Dun dun dun. Very exciting. Ooh, the next chapter is short. We might be able to get through 2 more. Or at least 1.5 more. Very nice. So the next chapter is chapter 26, and it's called The Basement. But I'm going to get a sip of coffee first. Oops, didn't mean to kick you. Sorry about that, friends. Yes, Amanda, very much so. Lotion is great in cloud dough, just like it's great in cloud and butter. Use it freely, like a lot. Yeah. Okay. Her hair looks dark today, doesn't it? I wonder if it's because she's a little sweaty. Chapter 26, The Basement. Red and the Lost Boys followed Hagetta's directions and traveled through the dwarf forest toward the Corner Kingdom. The Lost Boys had never been in such an unnerving place. They were constantly on the lookout as they journeyed deeper into the mysterious and thick woods. Red, on the other hand, never gave their eerie surroundings a second thought. Her mind was fixated on one thing and one thing only, saving Froggy. It grew late, and the night always grew darker in the dwarf forest. They followed the river as it traveled south. They discovered a house on the other side with a tall hay roof and a watermill that turned as the river ran through it. The sight of it sent chills down Red's spine, and she knew that they had arrived. "We're here, boys," Red said. "That's the goat's house. Porridge, I want you to take Oats and Buckles somewhere safe. I'll whistle for you when I need you, and if you hear one of us scream, go get help." Red helped the Lost Boys down from the horses, and Porridge led her family out of sight into the trees. Red and the Lost Boys crouched behind the bushes and watched the house. "Is our temporary dad in there?" Toodles asked. "Well, I certainly hope so," Red said. "What are we going to do now, Mom?" Slightly asked. "Should we just barge in and take him?" Nibs asked. "Attack!" the twins asked. Before she could answer them, the cellar doors on the side of the house opened. Morena peeked her head up from below the house and looked around the forest. Red and the Lost Boys hit the ground and watched her through the bushes. They were afraid that she might have heard them, but the witch wasn't looking for something in particular. "I know, our temporary dad's so sad." She scanned the forest in all directions. Once Marina had determined that the forest was empty, she went back underground. "That's the goat, all right," Red whispered. "Do you think she saw us?" Toodles asked, and suddenly a loud sound came from behind the house as something heavy was dragged up the steps. Marina reappeared, pulling a wooden coffin out from under her house. She dragged it to the riverbank and then returned to the cellar. Ooh. A few moments later, she dragged out another coffin and set it beside the other one. Marina pushed the coffins into the river and they floated downstream. She went to the watermill and gave it a strong tug, pushing it against the river's current. Slowly but surely, her river magically began to flow in the opposite direction, sending the coffins upstream and into dwarf forest. The witch waited for the caskets to drift out of sight and then she turned the windmill in the opposite direction. A few moments later, the river began flowing south again, and Marina descended back underground, and they heard her lock the cellar doors with bolt and chains. "So she's the one behind the dead bodies of Dead Man's Creek," Red whispered. "Dead Man's Creek?" Curly asked and gulped fearfully. "I'll tell you about it once you're grown out of your night terrors, Caesar," Red said. Marina exited the house, and this time used the front door. She was wearing a long, black feathered coat, and she carried a small bag. She walked down to the river where the small boat was docked and sat inside it. The witch released the boat from the land and magically cruised down the river toward the Corner Kingdom. Red waited until Marina was long gone before getting to her feet. "We're in luck, boys," Red said. "It looks like the goat has left the stable. Let's sneak inside the house and find your temporary father." The river wasn't very deep, so Red made the Lost Boys get in and carry her across the water so her dress wouldn't get wet. Once they made it to the other side, they tried to enter the house through the cellar doors, but it wouldn't budge. So they walked around to the front door, but it was locked too. "Oh dear," Red said. "Hey, Charlie, are you in there?" She knocked on the door, but there was no response. The Lost Boys exchanged a smile. "Time for a curly toss," Toodles said. "What's a curly toss?" Red asked. "We'll show you," Nib said. And the Lost Boys each grabbed one of Curly's limbs and raised him off the ground. They swung him into the air and slammed his chubby body against the door, breaking it down. "Ouch," Curly said from the floor of the house. "Oh, good boy, Caesar," Red said. "Mama's so proud of you." Red led the way inside, stepping over Curly as she went. They eyed the front room of Marina's house and ogled all the shelves of colorful liquids. It was unlike any place they had ever been before. Unfortunately, there was no sign of Froggy anywhere. "What kind of place is this?" Toodles asked. "This reminds me of a hospital," Nib said. "For such a sophisticated place, the juices taste terrible," Slightly said. Red and the other boys quickly turned to Slightly and saw him chug a bottle of pink potion. "Salvador, do not drink that," Red warned, but it was too late. Slightly transformed into a toddler right before their eyes. He looked up at the others in shock and immediately started crying. "Amazing," the Lost Boys said in unison. "No one touch anything else," Red ordered. "Tobias, look after your new baby brother. Hopefully Alex can change him back when she and Connor return." "Hi. Oh, hi. Oh, hi." Toodles picked Slightly up and cradled him, and the tears stopped. The Lost Boys found a tassel on the wall and pulled it. Curtains on the wall separated, and the mirror of truth was revealed. Red and the boys looked at their reflections, but nothing changed. Their outer truth was real as their inner truth. So Red might be who she is, but at least she's who she is. Red searched the rest of the room, but there was no sign of Froggy. "Mother, over here," Nib said. "It's a door." He directed Red to the door on the back wall, covered in a dozen locks. She figured Froggy was probably on the other side of it. "Oh, Caesar," Red sang, and before he knew it, Curly was lifted into the air again by the other Lost Boys and his temporary mother. "Let's give him a really powerful swing this time," Red instructed. There are a lot of locks to break. I know, right, Noah? Isn't that crazy? On 3. So here we go. 1, 2, 3. Oh, good morning. Are you awake just in time to say hi to Noah? You want to say hi, or do you want to go back to sleepies? What do you want to do? What do you want to do? Think about it. You could sleep more if you want. After a few aggressive swings to gain momentum, they let him go and he slammed through the door. There was a staircase behind it, and Curly rolled down into the basement. "Ouch," Curly said. "Well, is there anyone down there, Caesar?" Red asked, but he never responded. Red and the Lost Boys climbed down the steps after him, and they saw in the basement something that would haunt their nightmares for years to come. "Hi. You want milk? Are you asking me for milk? I can get you milk. You want milkies?" I love that they call her mother. She did need someone to rely on her. I will be right back. She's asking for milk, so I'm going to go get her the rest of the milk that we put in the fridge. I'm getting you out. We're going to go get your milkies. It's okay. We're getting it right now. Let's get our milkies. Let's get our milkies. Okay. Let's get you go. See how nice it is when you ask for something and you get it right away. That was so good. You did a good job asking. Thank you for asking. Thank you for asking, my sweet angel. There you go. Okay, here. You want to hold it with 2 hands? Can you hold it with 2 hands? Good job. Good job. 2 hands. Big girl. Who's my big girl? Okay. Do you need help? Here. 2 hands. Okay. Time for the Santa slide in 3, 2. Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas. Hi. Do you want to hold this? Can you use 2 hands to hold it? 2 hands. 2 hands. Yeah. Mommy's gonna have a sip of coffee before we continue. Ah, delicious. Okay, oop, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Here, 2 hands. There you go. Good job. Okay, time to see what this nightmare is that's gonna haunt them for the rest of their days. He never responded. Red and the Lost Boys climbed down the steps after him, and what they saw in the basement would haunt their nightmares for years to come. Yeesh. Curly was on his feet, staring at the room in shock. There were 24 beds in the basement, 12 lined against one side, 12 lined against the other. The last 4 beds were empty, and 20 of the beds were filled with sleeping children. Each child was glowing, but as the light emitted from their body, it slowly drained into potion bottles at the floor of their beds. At the foot of their beds. The further back the bed, the older the child looked. The last few didn't even look like children anymore, but they looked like petite senior citizens. Their faces were wrinkled, and their hair was gray. These must be the missing children, Red gasped. What's happening to them? Toodles asked. Red noticed that the walls were lined with empty coffins. She covered her mouth, and her eyes filled with tears. Marina is draining their youth and beauty to make potions, she said. She's a monster. Oh, honey. Honey. Baby, you have so many toys. You have so many toys. Here, how about this dragon? Dragon! Yay! Dragon. Or an axolotl. Dragon. Blocks. So many good options. Red and the Lost Boys stared around the cursed children in disbelief. They wanted to free them from whatever enchantment was draining their life force, but they didn't know how, and they were too afraid to touch any of them. Why are there empty beds? Nibs asked. Because they died, said a voice that didn't belong to Red or the Lost Boys. They looked around the basement to see where it was coming from, and propped up in the corner of the basement was a tall mirror with a silver frame, and to Red's horror, Froggy was standing inside of it. Charlie! Red yelled and ran to it. I know, honey, you just want to get to it so badly. She placed both of her hands on the glass, and Froggy put his webbed hands against hers. Is the giant frog our dad? Nibs asked. Hooray! Our dad's a frog! Red, who are these children? Froggy asked, and why are they calling me Dad? These are the Lost Boys of Neverland. I've adopted them for a time being. It's a long story, Red said. Charlie, what are you doing inside the mirror? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put the tripod over here. How about that? We're switching it up. You may not have my coffee. Nope. Morena put me in here so that I would have to watch the children, Froggy said sadly. So how do we get you out? Red asked. Froggy shook his head. Magic mirrors are irreversible, my darling, he said. I'm trapped just like the evil queen's lover, but since the wishing spell doesn't exist anymore, I'll most likely be in here forever. Red fell to her knees and she shook her head. She thought her heart was broken before, but it had shattered into so many pieces now that it might never heal again. No, she whispered. No. Froggy became emotional at the sight of her. I'm so sorry, my love, he cried. You must take these children and leave before Morena gets back. I can't leave you, Red cried. There's nothing we can do, Froggy wept. Morena wanted to separate us, and I'm afraid she has for good. The witch has won. I know. It's sad, huh, honey? Do you want to lay down so you can finish your milkies? Want more milk? Yeah. It's so yummy, right? But it's easier to drink if you lay down. It's hard to drink on the go when you're not so good at drinking it. I know. We're foster parents, Froggy. Yeah. All right. Let's see what the next chapter is. Are you ready, honey? Wow. Big girl, standing girl. Big standing girl. You're doing great, honey. You're doing great. Yeah, you are. Okay. The next chapter is chapter 27, and this is called The Sisters Grimm. The Sisters Grimm, honey. Not the Brothers Grimm, the Sisters Grimm. What are you doing? You don't want my coffee. I know you think you want it, but you really don't. Where are you going? What are you doing? Yeah, go that way. That's great. As far as Mrs. Campbell knew, Bree was spending the weekend at her friend Stacy's house, and even though Bree and Stacy hadn't been friends since 6th grade, Mrs. Campbell was so excited that her daughter was socializing again, she didn't ask many questions. Little did Mrs. Campbell know, after only a week free from being grounded, Bree was planning another great excursion. If you're going to be on that side, that's going to be on this side. Naturally, she thought of calling Cornelia Grimm first, but her phone number wasn't listed in any directory that Bree found. She had no choice but to go to 1729 Mystic Lane in Willow Grove, Connecticut on her own and pray that Cornelia was still living there. Bree planned the whole trip on her computer Thursday after school. She was so thankful for technology, she didn't... You know, Noah, I gotta tell you guys something. All the toys we have for her are silent toys, except for like shakers. We have balls, we have stuffed animals, we have these wonderful little wooden things from Ray. We've got, you know, all sorts of things, blocks. My mom showed up last week with this thing. She loves this thing. Yeah, you love Grandma's presents, huh? Yeah. I'm going to put it over here for now. You have so many toys. Why don't you play with some of your Nope, your face is not going on the screen. I know you want to be a star, I know. Can you sit down so we can keep reading? What do you think? Do you want to sit down so we can read? Please? You want to sit down so Mommy can read? Yeah, the puppy's going night-night for now. She loves Screen Mommy. Yes, she does love Screen Mommy. Oh, okay. Here, look at this. What's this? Can you put things in the box? Thank you. Good job. Friday morning, Bree packed her bag with snacks and an extra change of clothes, and as soon as the school bell rang, she sprinted to the Storybook Grill and waited behind the dumpster in the back. Just like Iris had said, the delivery truck for Sam's New England sourdough arrived that afternoon. The delivery man was young and round, and he wore a white uniform with a red bow tie. He raised the back door of his truck and loaded a cart with boxes of bread. He rolled the cart down the ramp off the truck and into the diner, and then he took his time once he was inside. Bree peeked in the window and saw him flirting with Petunia. That was really good standing. Wow, excellent work. She really is. She really is, Anya. Where was I? Bree figured this was her chance to sneak aboard the delivery truck. She found a small space behind a stack of damaged boxes and hid there. The delivery man returned 20 minutes later and locked up the truck, clueless of the additional passenger. He started the engine and pulled away from the Storybook Grill and headed back to the factory. Bree was on her way to Connecticut with no plan of how she would ever return. It took 2 days for the truck to reach the northeast state. The delivery man stopped occasionally to eat and to rest, but he was very determined to make it back in good time. Bree even heard him lying to the dispatcher about his estimated time of arrival. The worst part about Bree's journey was sneaking on and off the truck to find a restroom. She waited until the delivery man was either asleep in the back seat or eating in a restaurant, and every time she left the truck, she was terrified that it would be gone when she returned. Despite being a stressful and cramped way to travel, it still gave Bree quite a thrill. She hadn't had such an adrenaline rush since she traveled around Europe with Connor. She just wished that there was a way to keep her that he was here to keep her company. Finally, on Sunday morning, the truck pulled into Sam's New England sourdough factory, and as soon as the truck was parked, Bree raised the back door from inside and darted out. "Thanks for the ride!" she yelled after her. She yelled as she passed the delivery man. "Hey, how long have you been in there?" he yelled at her. "Come back!" He was too slow to chase after her, and Bree ran to the nearest bus stop. She only waited a few minutes for the next bus to arrive, and when the bus drove into the small and quiet city... What's the matter, honey? What's wrong? You gonna play a song on your piano? Go ahead, play a song. Go ahead. Did I tell you guys that I kind of figured out how to play Do a Deer on her little xylophone piano? I was pretty proud of myself for that. The bus drove into the small and quiet city of Willow Grove and dropped her off in the center of town. Mine love to give me gifts without my parents. Yeah, at least mine does it in front of me, right? Yeah. She pulled a map that she had printed out of her bag and followed it a little ways out of town, heading for Cornelia's house. The Connecticut countryside was a beautiful place for a walk. There were rolling hills of green trees all around her as far as she could go. That's not really what it's called, is it, Noah? Wait. Yeah, it is, right? Is it called Do a Deer? Do re mi. Whatever. I have no brain cells left. I haven't slept in a year. Tell us more. What else do you want to say? What else do you want to tell us, my beautiful angel? Yeah? Okay. And then what? And then what happened, honey? Yeah? And then what? Okay. And then what? Uh-huh. This morning she raspberried my stomach, you guys. Like you do to a little kid. Like we do to her. It was pretty funny. You should be, Noah. I appreciate it. Okay. Should I play the song? Do you want to sit over here and play the song? Wait, now I can't remember. Yeah. No. No. There we go. No. Close enough. It's hard when it's not a real piano. You know, like I know how to play the song, like for real, but it's like difficult on a kid's like, that's right, honey. That's right. Very good. I think I did okay, all things considered. You can sing the song. Uh-huh. That's right. You want to sing it? Can you say, well, if you hold it, it can't work because it's a xylophone, honey. It only works if it's free. It's not like a piano where you can hold the top. You want to play Heart and Soul? That's the beginning of Heart and Soul. Heart and soul, I fell in love. Well, when you're holding it, none of the notes sound right. Okay. Yeah, my turn. Bang, bang. Okay. Bree eventually found Mystic Lane. It was a wide residential street with homes on spacious lots. All the houses were elegant but old. Some looked like they had been there since before the United States was formed. 1723, 1725, 1727. Reread the addresses as she passed them, which brings us to 1729. The houses all had tall hedges. This house had a tall hedge around its yard, making it much more private than the other homes on the street. Bree went through a small gate and stepped onto the front lawn. It was a large two-story house with big windows and a wide front porch. The house was painted yellow, and the front yard was covered in ornaments. They were all colorful wind chimes and garden gnomes, bird baths, and statues of fairies spread throughout the flower beds. It was very homey, and Bree felt very comfortable here, strangely comfortable here. This must be it, she whispered to herself, and Bree pulled the old photograph of her grandmother and Cornelia out of her pocket. She held it up to the house and sighed with relief. It matched perfectly, just like an old piece in a new puzzle. The house had been fixed up over the years, but Bree was definitely in the right place. She walked up the porch steps and knocked on the door. Yeah? And then what? You want more milk? Do you want more milk? Milk? I have the milk right here if you want it. Here, honey, why don't we finish our milk since I know you're hungry? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Milk for baby. Boop, boop, boop. There we go. Is that so nice? Yum, yum. Yum, yum. She prayed that she hadn't traveled this far for nothing. A middle-aged woman with spiky red hair answered the door. She wore a maroon sweater and dangling ruby teardrop ears. May I help you? She asked. Hello, my name is Bree Campbell, and I'm wondering if a woman named Cornelia Grimm lives at this address? Why do you ask? Well, I think we're cousins, Bree said. I'm hoping she can answer a few questions for me about our family. I'm sorry to barge in like this, but I didn't know how else to track her down. I've traveled a really long way to get here. Yes, Cornelia is here, she said. Come in and I'll get her for you. My name is Wanda. They shook hands and Wanda escorted Bree inside. Her spirit soared knowing that Cornelia still lived here. Her journey hadn't been a waste after all. The house had floral wallpaper and white trim. There were large vases of flowers placed on every surface. The walls were covered in framed photos, not a single frame alike. Each picture was of a different woman or a group of women who had lived in the house over the decades. Bree recognized one of the women immediately. That's my grandmother, Bree said, and showed Wanda the picture of Cornelia and her grandmother that she had. And Wanda smiled at her. Oh, you're Annalise's granddaughter, she said. Cornelia will be thrilled that you've come to visit. Follow me. She's in the sitting room. And they entered a room filled with large, comfy furniture. There were at least 6 cats that Bree counted, but she assumed there were probably more in other parts of the house. The other middle-aged woman was sitting on a couch reading a book. She was plump, and she had dark hair that was graying at the temples. Frida, this is Bree Campbell, Wanda introduced. Whoa, be careful, honey. Bree, this is my cousin Frenda. Oh, not Frida, Frenda. Sorry, Frenda. Cornelia's daughter. Hello there, Frenda said, surprised by the company. Hi, Bree said and shook her hand. Aunt Cornelia, you have a visitor, Wanda said. This is Bree Campbell. She's Annalise's granddaughter. Cornelia Grimm was seated at the back of the room. She faced an easel and was mid-painting a landscape of some kind. She turned to face the girls, and Bree instantly recognized her. Sure, she was very old now, but she still looked similar to the picture of her grandmother's. She had long, white hair down to her waist, and she wore red framed glasses. A stylish silk scarf was wrapped around her neck. Cornelia was delighted to meet Bree. She retrieved her cane and stood to greet her. Whoa, my angel, you are being a daredevil. Can we be careful girls? Do we think we could be a careful girl? What are your thoughts about careful? There's a dragon to assist you in your carefulness. Hello, child. That's the dragon. If you're going to have a dragon assistant, it's going to growl. Hello, child, Cornelia said with a sweet smile. What a lovely surprise. I was just thinking about your grandmother this morning. I'm so happy to finally meet you, Bree said. You're my grandmother's cousin, is that right? Someone woke the dragon. Yeah, it was me. Yeah, it was me. Oh, hold on. I just got a question from the people coming here to pick up the slime stuff. They need the address again, so give me one second. Me. Oh, hold on. I just got a question from the people coming here to pick up the slime stuff. They need the address again, so give me one second. Sorry about that. I don't usually answer texts during book club, but that one was actually important because they're going to be here in half an hour, so I need them to know where they're going. Yes, Cornelia said. We were very close when we were young, but unfortunately we lost touch over the years. Is your grandmother well? Actually, she passed away a few years ago. Bree was sad to share. Oh, I am sorry to hear that, Cornelia said with a sigh. Well, she's in a better place now. What brings you to the house? Bree hesitated, not sure how to put it. I found a letter that you wrote to my grandmother with this address, she said, and I have a lot of questions about our family, and since she's not around anymore, I was hoping that you could answer them for me. I would have just called, but you aren't listed anywhere. Oh, I hate solicitors, Cornelia said. We'd be happy to answer questions you have, but let's have a seat. Cornelia sat beside Frenda, on the couch, and Bree and Wanda took the chairs across from them. The women were all ears, and Bree could tell they were eager to hear what questions she had. It wasn't every day that a young woman appeared on their doorstep seeking help. I suppose I should start with the biggest question on my mind, Bree said. Grimm isn't really a common last name, so I was wondering if our family was related to the brothers Grimm? As a matter of fact, yes, Cornelia said. Wilhelm Grimm was Anneliese and my fourth great-grandfather. Once again, Bree's spirits soared so high she could have levitated into the air. Yeah, that's about how she felt, honey. This was the answer she was hoping to get. Everything made sense now. That's incredible, Bree said with a relief. Are you from Germany as well? My grandparents moved to the United States when they were young, but your grandmother was the first in her family, Cornelia explained. Before she met your grandfather, she came to live with us in this house. I figured as much from the letters, Bree said. I noticed that all the photos of the women in the hall. Was this some kind of sorority? Sort of, Cornelia said. The house first belonged to my mother and her sisters. Many of our relatives have lived here over the years, and a strong majority of them were women. I'm sure our neighbors have thought we were a coven from time to time. Cornelia, Frenda, and Wanda all shared a laugh, but Bree didn't join them. Instead, she just eyed the women nervously. Are you witches? Bree asked in all seriousness, and the room went very quiet. The women shared a look that gave Bree an unsettling feeling. There was definitely a secret among them. Sorry, I hope that wasn't rude, Bree said. Whatever you are, it's none of my business. Recently I heard a lot about the brothers Grimm, and more than people would believe. I know that the Grimm family they have capabilities that other families don't. Are you talking about the magic in our family's blood? Cornelia asked, and the hairs on Bree's arms suddenly stood up. Yes, she said. You know about that? All three women nodded. It's a story that's been passed down in our family from generation to generation, Frenda said. The brothers Grimm didn't write the stories they published, but they were given to them by the fairies from another world, and in the 19th century, the Grand Armée caught wind of this, and they tried to conquer it, so a fairy transferred magic from her blood into Wilhelm Grimm so that he could help the fairies entrap the approaching army, and that magic still runs through our family's veins to this day. It's not enough magic to cast a spell or an enchantment, Wanda said, but we know it's inside us somewhere. It separates us from everyone else in this world. Bree stared at them in shock. She thought that she was the only person in the other world who knew this story. I'm curious how you knew the family secret before you knew that we were family, Cornelia said with a laugh. After your grandmother left this house, she was very adamant that she wouldn't tell her future children. Magic always frightened her. I'm assuming she changed her mind and left some of the details out of her explanation? No, Bree said. She never said a word about it. I found out completely on my own. It's a long story, but last year I went into the fairy tale world. Then the women gasped. They sat on the edge of their seats. This was a game changer even for them. Bree was the first person they'd ever known to travel into the fairy tale world. You crossed over? Wanda asked. But how? Frenda asked. And Bree told her relatives about the trip to Germany with her school, her adventures with Connor and Emmerich, and she told them how they traveled into the fairy tale world through the portal inside Neuschwanstein Castle. She explained that once she returned to the other world, she remembered hearing that Mother Goose had rigged the portal to trap any person of non-magic blood inside it for 200 years. Having magic in their blood was the only explanation for how Bree and Emmerich could have traveled through the portal so effortlessly, which led Bree to believe that she and Emmerich were descendants of Wilhelm Grimm. It was a long-winded answer, but the women were completely captivated. And how is your friend Connor related to magic? Cornelia asked. He and his twin sister are the fairy godmother's grandchildren, Bree said. Fascinating, Frenda said. Tell me about it, Bree said. They were the first children born of both worlds, and their birth somehow connected the two. I don't know. Apparently, in fairy tale time, things used to run slower, but now our worlds are in sync. How old are they? Cornelia asked. Almost 15, I think, Bree said. Wait, what does that have to do with anything? None of them answered her. Knowing the twins' ages sent Cornelia, Frenda, and Wanda into deep thought. I feel like there's something you're not telling me, Bree said, and all three women suddenly stood. I think we should show Bree the guest house, Cornelia said. It'll be easier to explain the sisterhood there. The sisterhood? Bree said. Follow us, sweetheart, Wanda said. And the women escorted Bree through the house and into the backyard. The lawn behind the house was just as decorated as the front lawn. There was a large guest house there at the very back of their property, and it looked like it might have been a barn before it was renovated. They went through the door, and Cornelia flicked on the lights. The guest house was one enormous room with a high ceiling. There was a large steel table at the very center, and rows of desks in the back equipped with computers, printers, and radio scanners. There was a wall lined with file cabinets and several built-in drawers and cupboards. A giant map of the world took up another wall, and hundreds of locations were pinned with colorful tacks. Bree looked around the room with curious eyes. Honey, are we okay? Sweetheart? Honey, are you just exploring your voice? Honey? It's Mama. What's wrong? Hello? Hi. Can you look at Mommy? Can Mommy see your face? Hello? 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 What's wrong, baby? Yeah? Do you want more milk? Oh yeah, I know. But she can't possibly be full, right? Do you want to finish your milkies? Look. Boo! Gentle lay down. Milkies. Milky. Yeah. Milky. Yeah. Yum! Too much turkey. Bree looked around with curious eyes. What is this place, like your secret laboratory? She asked. Are you all secret agents or something? We call ourselves the Sisters Grimm, Cornelia said. Our sisterhood was founded in 1852 by my third great-grandmother, Maria Grimm, and for almost 2 centuries the women in our family have monitored magical phenomena throughout this world. What magical phenomena? She asked. Are you talking about, like, fairies that spread the stories? That and much more, Brenda said. For a long time, our family believed we were the only people on Earth who had been exposed to magic and knew of the fairy tale world, Cornelia explained. However, we were wrong. When Maria Grimm took a closer look at history, she found that our world's past is littered with instances where the two worlds have intersected. The fairies who spread the stories were just one of those instances. But Connor's grandmother was the first and only person capable of creating portals between the worlds, Bree said. According to our records and research, that isn't true, Cornelia said, and Wanda pulled down a large scrim. It was a timeline stretching back thousands of years and covering every era of known history. We know the fairy godmother first showed up in this world somewhere in the early Dark Ages, Wanda explained, and she pointed to the middle of the timeline. However, there's evidence of crossover between the worlds before she showed up. Most ancient civilizations were influenced by creatures that are considered mythical today, Brenda said. So the ancient people paid tribute to these beings in their arts, stories, and sometimes they even worshipped them. Despite the obvious presence of these creatures, historians have labeled their existence as mythological simply because they don't meet the biological standards of animals today. This is one... Okay, I think we might have talked about this when I read through this the first time, but this is one of my, big things that I genuinely believe, and I'm going to tell you, and I don't care if I sound crazy, I truly believe that unicorns did exist. I don't know if I believe that they were magical beings, but I do believe that there was a horse with a horn that existed in the world and that the people of that time believed that they were magical. And the reason that I believe that is because unicorns appear in too many ancient drawings across cultures before there was cross-country travel or cross-continental travel. So the only explanation for it to be in all of the cultures like that is for them to have actually existed. You know what I mean? And I think that they're gone now, of course. I think that they were probably killed off for their believed magical properties, but I do believe that they existed. And we have narwhals, of course. And we have deer that have horns. And we have rhinoceroses that have tusks. You know what I mean? It's not a far-fetched idea, you know, that there was a horse that had a horn. I don't think that's that weird. Anyway, that's one of my soapboxes. Oh shoot, it's after 9:30. Okay, we're gonna have to pause and continue this tomorrow because I have a bunch of people coming today to pick up different furniture and stuff, and one of them's gonna be here in 10 minutes. Okay, so I will see you guys Monday, and we will finish that chapter. We can talk more about mythological Greek. Yeah, the chapter's not even close to almost over. And we can read more. We are almost done with the book. I will also show you my progress on the room and all of that stuff. Oh my gosh. Okay, you wanna say bye-bye? You say bye. Say I love you, everybody. Yeah. Anything else? Can you sing the little song from your puppy? It goes, I love you, you make the world so bright. I love you, morning, noon, and night. It's kind of a cute song, even though I don't love that dog. Okay, bye-bye, guys. We'll see you later.